Welcome back. This is part 3 of Ventures 4, Unit 9 for May 19th for Kcpc. So we've been talking about recycling, and I told you that I had some beads that I wanted to show you. And this is a necklace that I made. And these beads here are glass beads, and they're from Ghana in Africa. And they're very translucent. You can see through them, and they're kind of a light greenish color. And they are recycled from old Coca-Cola bottles. The women in the village take old Coca-Cola bottles and smash them up, and then they make little round uh, holes from mud in like a little cake, and then punch a hole in the middle of it, and then they put the smashed up Coke bottle in that little hole, put a twig in the middle of it, and then they fire it to make glass so that when it comes out, the place where the twig was is the place that has the hole because the twig burns up. And then what you have left is this very interesting little glass bead that is recycled from Coca-Cola bottles by women in a few of the villages in the continent of Africa. That I thought was a very interesting recycle project. Okay, so we were in our student book on page 112, talking about conditionals. Let's read the examples. If everybody drove smaller cars, we would use less gasoline. We would use less gasoline if everybody drove smaller cars. If she used energy-efficient light bulbs, she would save electricity. She would save electricity if she used energy-efficient light bulbs. So remember, if the if clause comes first, you use a comma. If not, you don't use a comma. And it's also the verb form is the past tense. Number 2, practice. Complete the sentences using the present unreal conditional because if means it hasn't happened yet, so that's the unreal part. Everyone, many people put their newspapers in the trash can. If everybody recycled newspapers, we would save millions of trees. Well, I actually recycle newspapers. Right here is my studio space, and it is also the place where I do my videos. So when I paint my scarves, I use newspapers from my sister, and as you can see, I lay them down on top of the table, and the dye from the scarf goes onto the paper. So I'm trying to recycle as best I can. How about you? Are you recycling? I can't hear you, but I want you to speak, and I want you to speak in English and use complete sentences to tell me about ways that you recycle. Okay, let's go back to page 112. So we were talking about newspapers. Number 2, no one never takes his car in for a tune-up. Noah's car would use less gas if he tuned up his car regularly. So how many people get a regular tune-up? Could you use a complete sentence, please? Okay, yes, I get a regular tune-up on my car. Okay, number 3, Mr. Brown drives his own car to his job downtown. Mr. Brown would save money on gas if he, that's right, carpooled to work. Next. Many items in the supermarket are packaged in plastic. If you would buy products that are packaged with recycled paper, you would help to reduce global warming. Number 5. Jessica always stays in the shower for a very long time. If Jessica would take shorter showers, she would save water. Number 6. Some kinds of fish contain large amounts of lead, a poisonous material. You would be healthier if you would stop eating fish that contains lead. By the way, what is the fish that contains the most lead that we know of in the ocean today? Anybody know? I haven't looked this up for a long time, but for many, many years it was swordfish. For some reason, swordfish contains a very large amount of lead. Okay, number 7. Energy efficient appliances use less electricity. If May's family would buy a new washing machine, they would save money. If they could buy a new washing machine, they would save money on their electric bill. Or if May's family bought a new washing machine, they could save money or they would save money on their electric bill. Number 8, Christina never puts enough air in her tires. If Christina put more air in her tires, she would buy less gasoline. No, I've forgotten about that. I try to keep my tires at maximum pressure, but I've forgotten that if you have them higher, then they would it would save more gasoline. Okay, so that is page 112. And since we have lots of time, we're going to move on to page 113. Talk with a partner. Match each action with a result. Some items have more than one correct answer. Use the present unreal conditional. Example, if everyone bought energy efficient appliances, we would save electricity. So, if everyone would fix water leaks, we would save water. Next, if everyone replaced light bulbs with energy efficient ones, we would save electricity. If everyone recycled cans, bottles, glass, and paper, we would reduce the amount of trash in landfills. If everybody put enough air in their tires, we would save gas. If everyone closed off unused rooms, we would reduce air conditioning and heating use. Okay, so work in a small group. Look at the picture of the beach. Talk about actions people could take to help the environment. So we're going to do that, and we're going to try to do it by pointing to a particular part of the picture to talk about. So here we have lots of trash on the beach. So the sentence would be, if more people picked up the trash on the beach, everyone would enjoy a clean beach. How about this? If everyone put more air in their tires, we would save gas. Hmm. Ah, in the center. Thank you. So what do we have here? A shower. No one's under it. And the water is what? Running. So let's create the sentence for that one. If people shut the water off between use, it would save more water. Okay. Anything else? Oh, how about this part of the picture? So if people changed their oil filters in their car or changed their filters and had their cars, if they took their cars to the garage more often to replace and recycle the gas, the oil filters, the oil filters, what would happen? We would have cleaner air. So replacing your oil filter when it's dirty would help the environment too. Okay, I think that's as far as we're going to go today in this section in the student book. So if you would please take out your workbook, turn to page 104. Conditional sentences, part B, lesson B. Circle the correct form of the verbs. 1, I hope you're reading out loud. If I had time, I would join an environmental club. Oh, that sounds interesting. Number 2, if you used a fan instead of an air conditioner, you would save electricity. Number 3, people would buy more energy efficient light bulbs if they were cheaper. Past tense in using the conditional. And the conditional means if, because hasn't happened yet. Number 4, if you carpooled to work, you would help reduce global warming. 5, our city would be cleaner if people recycled more paper and cans. 6, if Rosa had more money, she would buy an energy-efficient refrigerator. Remember, if you're using the conditional, which means you're using if, you're using the past tense. If Rosa had. Number 2, read the sentences. Circle the true statements. Number 1, if Leon drove more slowly, he would save a lot of gas, which means, let's read, Leon usually drives fast or Leon usually drives slowly. Leon usually drives fast. Look at sentence B. Leon usually drives slowly. So there's no way to say fastly. That's just the adverb for the word drive, the verb drive. But with slow, it's an adverb for drive, so you say slowly. Leon usually drives slowly. Number 2, if we lived outside the city, we would enjoy cleaner air. A, we live outside the city now, or B, we live in the city now. Yes, we live in the city now. Number 3, she would save money if she bought recycled paper. A, she often buys recycled paper. B, she doesn't buy recycled paper. That's right, it's B. She doesn't buy recycled paper. Number 4, I would be healthier if I rode a bicycle to school. A, I don't ride a bicycle to school. B, I always ride a bicycle to school. The answer, I don't ride a bicycle to school. 5, if people recycled all of their paper, we would save a lot of trees. A, people recycle all of their paper. B, people put a lot of paper in the trash. Yes, it's B. People put a lot of paper in the trash. Number 6, if I lived close to my work, I would walk to work. A, I live far from my work. B, I live close to my work. Yes, it's A. I live far from my work. So we have time to do one more and working on the conditional. In the workbook, page 105. Write sentences about actions and results. Use the present unreal conditional, because the conditional means it's not real, it's an if. Action, carpool to work. Result, I save a lot of money every week. The sentence would be, if I carpooled to work, I would save a lot of money every week. 2, action. People replace old appliances with new appliances. Result, they use less electricity. The sentence would be, if people replaced old appliances with new appliances, they would use less electricity. Number 3, action. Our city have more recycling centers. Result, people recycle more cans and bottles. Sentence, if our city had more recycling centers, people would recycle more cans and bottles. Number 4, action. The landlord fixed the leak in my bathtub. Result, I not use so much water. Action, if the landlord fixed the leak in my bathtub, I would not use so much water. Remember, in a conditional, the verb is past tense. If the landlord fixed. Number 5, action. People use both sides of a piece of paper. Result, we not cut down so many trees. The sentence, if people used both sides of a piece of paper, we would not cut down so many trees. So this is something that at CPACs, when we're using our printer, we try to print on both sides of the paper, although that's not always possible, but if possible, we always try to do that. And most often that shows up in when you're doing an exam, that you would see that we're using both sides of the paper. But if we're passing out a worksheet with information that only covers one side, then obviously we're not doing that. Okay, 105. Rewrite each sentence a different way. Put the second part of the sentence first. So this is really like the first part, but in the first part, the condition went first, if I carpooled. So there, when you're writing your sentence, you're going to put a comma because you're using the if sentence first. So here we go. I would buy a more efficient car if I had enough money. If I had enough money, I would buy a more efficient car. So there's a comma between the conditional, which is the if part with the past tense, and the results part of what would happen if you did that. So I'm going to stop here because we're not going to have enough time to finish, and we'll just pick this up in the next session. Okay? Please Please speak as much English as possible, and I look forward to talking to you next time.